just a brief introduction about this platform. Happy Hotelier Club was conceptualized in January 2020, the brainchild of three passionate hoteliers, the purpose of bringing out hoteliers on a common forum for communication and exchange of ideas on industry-related issues, new trends, and practices being followed to enhance business and support each other. A perfect place for any hotelier to come together and interact, share, rediscover his own self. The vision statement is to be the world's best and first platform for hoteliers to provide happier ways of networking, learning, and exchange of ideas. HHC core team consists of Ashish Gupta, he's a hotelier, Dheeraj Agarwal, strategist and IT expert, Tarandeep Full, she's a branding and PR expert. HHC Advisory Board, Mr. Himmat Anand and Mr. Grish Pindra. Mr. Himmat Anand he had actually left the corporate world in 2007 when he was Chief Operating Officer India and South Asia, Kioni Destination Management. And now he has gone on a journey of pursuing his dreams with Tree of Life resorts and hotels in 8 locations, and 3 more are scheduled for the next year. Mr. Grish Pindra has about 35 years of experience in travel, tourism, and hospitality industry. Currently, he's the Vice President Operations at the Surya, New Delhi, and he's a passionate hotelier and very well known amongst his guests. So we are very, very, privileged to have them on our advisory board. This happens to be our 26th episode, so which means that we started on 20th March and we've already done about 25 episodes before this on topics of great concern for the industry, both restaurants and hotels. We would request you to take a minute and like us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and you can also look at all our past episodes on YouTube. You can just search for Happy Hotelier Club and subscribe to it. So here we come on the topic for the day, which is very, very powerful and exciting. How to win with digital marketing and personal branding. I think it's a hot topic, especially now with the pandemic about to get over. So before we start, we would request, Ranjita Shaw to take over. But before she takes over, I would like to, I take the privilege of introducing her, a dynamic woman. Ranjita is a director of PR and communications with Rosyat Hotels and Resorts. She currently heads this place. And I think everybody knows Rosyat Hotel and Resorts is a boutique luxury hospitality chain with 6 niche hotels across India. And she was also instrumental with the launch of Rosyat, which was earlier Dusit Dhani, and Rosyat House, which is in AeroCity. She's been associated with the Bird Group for many years. She's also the communication head and is responsible for everything which is related to Ice Skate India, and which is the first ice skating rink in Gurgaon, and I Ride Segbai, which is basically the brands under Bird Hospitality, which is a part of Bird Group. Ranjita started her career with Hyatt Regency Johannesburg in South Africa after completing a bachelor's degree. And upon return to India, she was, of course, involved with Hyatt Regency in Delhi, and followed by Taj Hotels and Resorts, which was her last organization. At Rosyat, she has been playing a very, very important role, as I mentioned, for the launch of the hospitality brand way back in 2016. Along with this current AeroCity new hotel, Rosyat House, she has also been instrumental in setting up one of the most luxurious property, the Rosyat Ganges in Rishikesh in 2019. So over to you, Ranjita. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the lovely introduction, Taran. Obviously, it's a pleasure moderating this show and, being on the same platform as you. It's been a while. So before we start today's session, let us look about what we will be covering and about our speakers. Of course, we have Dheeraj and Taran, as you see. We're all either a part of an organization, either running one in some capacity or the other, or owners of it. So our focus today mostly will be hospitality, as the Happy Hoteliers Club suggests. But before I introduce the speakers, I'm also going to quickly run through the points for discussion today. So let's look at these very quickly. How do you grow your brand by engaging your existing staff? How to make small videos to increase reach and engagement on Facebook and Instagram platforms, usage of client testimonials effectively to get more results, creating personal brands within the organization and marketing them, of course, and how to appear on top of the Google search engine and attract your target audience present within 10 kilometers of your location. Now, about our first speaker today, Dheeraj Agarwal, as you see him on screen here, a familiar name in the digital marketing space, and he's also the owner of Web Tycoons. He's got over 15 years of experience in the IT industry, and Dheeraj has created a name for himself in website and online marketing services. He's been a prominent speaker in all the seminars and multiple workshops that he's held, and his interest, interestingly, lies in spirituality, tech blogs, artificial intelligence, and everything about Google. And I think we'll come to that towards the end when we have time, and we'll ask him a few questions on those lines. Now, Taran,
Yeah, sure.
I think everyone's favorite, as we dearly call her, Taran Deep. She's our second speaker today, and she comes with many, many years of experience in the hotel and PR communication division. She owns a branding firm, Uplifto. It's been 4 years, and she's an expert in strategizing marketing plans for hospitality projects. And she's also co-founder of Happy Hoteliers Club. Of course, you've already heard her introduce the Happy Hoteliers Club. Without further ado, I'll be starting today's session with our first question. Now, we will have a 5 minutes Q&A session towards the end of the webinar. So please feel free to put in your question in the chat box, or you could raise your hand and our speakers will address them towards the end. Now, as we said, how do you grow your brand by engaging your existing staff? Now, employees, we all know are the biggest brand ambassadors. So engaging existing staff through social media, promoting your company culture, featuring employee achievement, they're all big now. Now, as an asset to an organization, be it a hotel or a restaurant, their conduct in real and real life, both is important. Now, their engagement on social media is also a brilliant tool if used efficiently. Now, how do we leverage them? Now, this, I'm addressing it first to Dheeraj, and then I will move over to Taran and ask for her inputs. Dheeraj, over to you.
Thanks, Ranjita. Yes, you rightly said, employees are the biggest asset, without any doubt. So one word I would say to leverage them in a proper way is multitasking. Each hotel or restaurant or business has huge employee base. During the team meetings, which you conduct on daily basis, just ask them to do regular check-ins on the Facebook and put it on their WhatsApp status with a pic on different location within the premises. I am at office, or something like lunchtime in office. So alternate day, you can ask them to put it on their Facebook WhatsApp status, and then check-ins on their Facebook. And this can actually change the way exactly, things are looking for our hotel or restaurant or any of the business. Make a list of, we can also make a list of total guests who are checked in into the hotel. We can identify 5 to 6 good staff. We can divide these guests amongst them, say like 5 guests each of them, and just ask them to politely reach out to the guest and ask them for two things. One, if they can actually do the checking on their Facebook, and second is posting a review and rating on the Google listing. Now, finally, a must do. Make sure that all employees of yours, along with two of their blood relations, two of their best friends, should like your Facebook page, should like your Instagram page as a follower, and definitely they should rate you on Google. And do this activity within a proximity of 5 days. Let's take an example. If an organization or a hotel has 100 employees, and if two of their friends and two of their blood relation, including the employee, would like, follow, and review, you will get 500 likes on a Facebook, 500 followers on Instagram, and 500 Google reviews and ratings within 5 days. And count on what? The viral effect of it, which will come in the later days to follow. So I think that is the way we can actually leverage the employees beautifully.
Very interesting points mentioned there, Dheeraj. Taran, what is your take? I mean, we've covered a few of the pointers by Dheeraj. What is your take in on this?
Right. Thank you so much. I think very valid points which Dheeraj has shared. I'll take it further from there. So, according to me, employees are the best brand ambassadors, no doubts about it, because they deserve to be showed up. That is very very important. We need to actually get them together in terms of our vision and in terms of our way forward, in terms of our value system, in terms of our brand personalities. Because most of the times we see that there's a disconnect. That disconnect should be bridged thanks to the social media. That should be actually taken forward with the employees, because then you don't need to boost up your posts at all, right? But then taking a step back, I also feel that it is a huge responsibility of the organization, especially the communication of the marketing department, to actually spot the right employees within the organization who can actually voice your personality. Because you can't really ask anybody and everybody. Of course, sharing is beautiful, which Dheeraj has actually taken the steps forward in terms of sharing, wherein we can actually make one post viral, and that is beautiful. But in terms of anybody going out and talking about your brand, that is also very nice. But then they should be aligned with the personality of the brand, which means that you have to actually be very vigilant as to what is going on, and going out. So a consumable, I would say anything which is consumed, which is ready to be consumed in terms of content, should be handed over to them, because not every levels have that caliber to take out content which is aligned to your personalities of the brand. Because brand personality should be aligned and it should be very, very carefully and sensitively taken forward. This is one important thing which I feel. Parallel with this, which means that you need to train them. You need to train them how to do it, so that it is aligned with your complete communication strategy. That is very, very important. And going a step forward now, how and why will the employees actually take the effort? Because from their perspective, it is an effort. Why should I just like it? Why should I actually, ask my friends or relatives to do it? You need to actually make it happen. So, how will you make it happen? You will incentivize a program, you will make a strategy to incentivize them in a particular time period and create a campaign around it, and so everybody's talking the same thing. Even your internal posters in your organization at the back of the office is also talking about it. Your intra mails are talking about it. So it becomes a complete dedicated program, and therefore it goes viral because they are proud to hold it, right? So incentivize them in terms of giving them a voucher or giving them Amazon vouchers for that matter, and so on and so forth. It should be aligned with what the management wants, but then it should be actually coming out from a communication department, because it should be structured, it should be with strategy, and you need to get the employees with you to actually create it a very, very successful step forward. So I think that is very, very important. Yeah.
No, I
This is all
completely
from
agree,
my side.
Karan. No, absolutely. I completely agree because looking at a hotel or a restaurant perspective, we've got at Rosette Hotels and Resorts, we've got Kheer, we've got Chini, Kian, Del, and the recently launched Roasted by Rosette in Vasant Kunj. Of course, having said that, chefs' culinary skills that are being showcased in videos and the employees' services are being highlighted. It is very imperative to get them to post stories or repost, use the right hashtags. Obviously, automatically gives you an extra boost. And we've done that from our communications team. And as you mentioned, that incentivizing them is very important because when they're growing, when they're on their growth path, they also get not only visibility, but also an incentive that actually endorses them to further follow your pages or repost a story or help you engage in the content, and then it can be strategized accordingly and then create a trend. Of course,
That's
why
right.
why look for trending through outside influencers when you actually have your own set of employees, hundreds and hundreds of them, who can actually follow, repost, and share your content. Of course.
That's right. But you have to
Very
make
well
it
put.
believe. Yeah. You have to make them,
Absolutely.
in that campaign of belief. So that's very
Absolutely.
important. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, moving over to the second question, we have how to make small videos to increase reach and engagement on Facebook and Instagram. Facebook and Instagram, of course, have become very important tools today on social media for promotion. I think everyone is on Facebook now these days, and Instagram, of course, is even fast picking up. Now, visual content is something we're going to touch upon here. Um, I've mentioned this before and I say it again that the attention span of humans has beaten that of a goldfish. So we really need to have visual content which would be engaging but not too lengthy. So we only have a fraction of 8 to 9 seconds that we can get them, to engage in the content. Now, storytelling, using the targeted demographics are very important here. So in an era of digitization, visual content becomes very important and it is the way forward. And what better way to use it than through videos? But how to create those videos? What message are we putting out in the videos? And is it engaging enough? So these nuances we'll touch upon. Now, for example, at I don't know if you're following our pages at Rosette Hotels and Resorts. We during the pandemic we started with Care by Rosette, and these highlight the safety protocols that is taken care by our brand, to ensure your safety and security when you enter the doors of any of our hotels and resorts. Now, it could have been done through a simple newsletter, which we did, but we also created 4 different videos that would show you touchless check-in, touchless hospitality, touchless dining experience, and obviously the demarcation on the floors, the minimum number of people that are required in an elevator. So all that was touched upon, but within 40 seconds or 30 seconds video content. Now, addressed to Dheeraj, I'm asking Dheeraj now this question first, and then we'll move over to the next question. Dheeraj, how important is it, to get this audience to get the right message in the video, and how difficult is it? And please do throw light upon, should we hire an agency, or how do we brainstorm and get about strategizing it?
Yeah. Yeah. So rightly said, Ranjita. No doubt about it. Videos are the future. So visual always gave a long-lasting impact to a human brain. As you rightly said, that you could have done it through a newsletter also, but you have chosen the video format, right? Why? Because this gives a very fine impact. Now, let me share some real tips from social media perspective, which everybody is aware that videos are the king. But then, what are the tips? So the tip number one, you can create stories through videos. And we all know that fact only tells, but story sells. So create stories which are sellable. Whatever the brand you are in, just think of creating a story in small 25 to 30 seconds. Shoot it on a normal selfie mode, or maybe a back camera mode. Nowadays we get all good cameras in the phone, so there is no need to hire a agency for it. There are many apps available on Google Play Store which can edit your videos. Canva is one of them, so you can use them. They simply give you a small icon of their app at the bottom of the video, but you can actually shoot it up. Right. Now, what you can do
Right.
is that, let's take an example of a restaurant or a hotel. Ideally, you should divide areas. Say, like, you can have a view on a kitchen or a lobby or room or terrace, and then cover a particular area with 3 to 4 small videos of 30 to 40 seconds each, so that a user can get the exact and appropriate knowledge about a single part of that particular facility. You can talk on hygiene, talk about small USPs, the unique selling points, which generally we could not think of making a creative, or maybe a dish. Do not forget that the videos has to be crisp. As you rightly said, 20 to 30 seconds is the appropriate time. We can also plan a real looking interview. And now how that is conducted. So what you can do is that if it is an office, you can approach to your marketing manager, or if it is a hotel, you can approach to your chef. And then one of the communication guy can simply introduce, I'll try to play it here. Let me act as a communication guy. So what I'll do is that if I'm creating a video, I'll put my phone in my hand and say, hey, I am Dheeraj from Roseate Hotel, and this is my chef. And now the guy would be focusing on the chef, and the chef would be introducing himself and may tell about a dish which he is cooking. And that is how we can create a small video and we can post it on the social media. Now, what happens next? Generally, when we put up a video, nobody likes it. Even our staff doesn't like it. But now, when you are featuring two of your staff into that video, you can easily ask them to share it on their social media so that both of them can like the video and also tag their fellow colleague so that they can also like it and share it on their profiles. So what you are ensuring this way is you are getting a huge traction within that day when you are shooting that video. Right. Another tip I would like to give is appropriate usage of hashtags or the current topics. Let's take an example. Say like nowadays, a hashtag is very much popular and that is hashtag Mintra logo. What we can do is that we can create a short video on our logo explanation. We may reach our founder or the guy who has actually promoted the brand. We can ask a story about the logo. And I'm pretty sure that each one of us can actually talk on our logos for 20 seconds and then correlate it with the Mintra logo, or you may not correlate, but definitely put the hashtag Mintra logo, and you can get a whole lot of traction on that particular video. So these are the few ways we can actually focus on and make videos internally. Thank you.
Very interesting, Dheeraj, and very, very instructive as well, because many of us do struggle, not just for hotels, even on individual front. It's a very good point you put there that, using that hashtag, which already has a lot of buzz going behind, and, using that hashtag would just help you promote give visibility to your content, gives it a push. Right. Now, coming to the third question, usage of client testimonials effectively to get more results. Now, client testimonials, the guest is king or the customer is king, like how we say it in marketing. Now, very important, a happy guest or a happy diner. They're your biggest brand ambassadors other than the employees. And it's a very close call. I mean, look at the OTA review platforms, the dining platforms, and testimonials on social media platforms. Now, the opportunity that we can seize here is how to get client testimonials and convert them into ROI. If we have hotel proprietors here viewing us, viewing the session, obviously they would love to know, because every hotel proprietor would want to know how they can drive more footfalls, and that would convert into revenue generation. Of course, social media being a powerful tool. Now, address to Tarun first, and then I will also try and take a few examples on how we can use client testimonials and what we did at Roseate Hotels and Resorts. But first, Tarun, I can't have you silent for too long, so please, over to you.
Right. So very rightly said, client testimonials is something which is just, I would say, a lifeline of any hospitality group, whether it is a hotel or a restaurant, because we are there because of the customers, right? But then how to actually leverage the customer walking in and having a certain kind of experience, leveraging it for our benefit is a catch, right? And how to actually not let them go out or leave the premises without having something to our benefit. That is very, very important. So first of all, we need to understand why a customer or a client's testimonial is important, because we all know that 92, according to the research, 92% of your actual decisions or buying decisions for that matter are really judged by the referrals, and those referrals are not by anything else but by individuals. So those individuals are, in our scenario, our customers, right? So once they book with us, whether it's a stay or it's a dining experience or a spa for that matter, or he's just coming and picking up something as a takeaway, or we are delivering at his place, because now every restaurant is delivering, and that's become our major return on investment, at least during the pandemic, and now we are still in the pandemic, though it is not very, very robust right now, right? So all these touch points with the customers have to be really hooked up in a very, very refined way. We need to be very, very sure that whatever experience we are giving him is mind boggling, and we have to actually connect with him emotionally, because your testimonial wordings or your video testimonials will be all dependent on the touch points. So you have to be really, really outflowing with giving him the best experience, addressing what he needs, and so on and so forth. So in that way, once he's leaving, we can really bind him well, and we can request him for a testimonial. And there, for that also, you need to have a structure to it. You can't just do it without a structure, because I go back to and forth by mentioning and using this word, that there has to be a strategy, there has to be a system, because without systems nothing happens. So your front office should know, or your F&B should know, that the customer who is leaving his premises at a certain point of time should be recorded, whether it is a written record or it is a testimonial via video. So it can also be requested to him that if he does it, we can incentivize him just the way we were planning to incentivize an employee. So we can do an incentivization program for the guests as well, who are staying in or who are dining or who are using our spa facility, or for that matter any facility, right? So that program should be very, very structured, because once he does that, it's an instant gratification to him. See, it's a world of emotions, it's a world of instant gratifying people, because that stays with him and he comes back and back and back, right? So how do you bind him at least 5 times? That is very, very important. The moment you do it 5 times with him, and he's hooked with you for 5 times, he becomes your customer. He's sold for life. And the way he's going to go, and without you even pushing him, the referral program he'll run on behalf of you automatically. That will become just an automated system. So for us, the initial 5 times visit is the main thing and main struggle, I would say, so that his experience is always consistent. That is very, very important. And then for you to bind him and get the testimonials to your benefit, which can again become viral through him, and you using that testimonial and highlighting it on your website, on your emailers, and so on and so forth. You can really repurpose those testimonials far and wide, again with a system, because nothing happens without a system. I repeat that, right? So I think this should be really taken seriously, because there's nothing better than a non-paid or a non-salaried customer who's coming and still giving us a testimonial, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Taran, I wanted to touch upon a few points there. The Roseate Ganges in Rishikesh and the Roseate New Delhi. They're two very picturesque resorts, and everyone loves these properties, obviously because of its USPs, farm to fork experience, hospitality service. Now they've become the it leisure getaways. But the guests who've come there, initially, it was only word of mouth when they would go, and they would tell their friends and family. Now, once you started getting these guest testimonials, and a happy guest would be very, he would be happy to endorse your product or your service. That is where you utilize this video on social media, and then it would pick up and go viral. Because initially you only had friends and family who were looking at it. Now you could actually target your audience. Now you could have this guest testimonial visible to someone sitting in Bombay, someone sitting in USA, someone sitting anywhere, I mean, any part of the world where you would target. So Dheeraj is already, I think, in agreement with this, and this is his area of expertise too. So Dheeraj, please do add a few pointers there.
Yeah, sure. And it is beautifully explained by Taran, and Taran has already covered all the good points on testimonial. But let me
Right.
share a small perspective from social media. So what we generally do is that we go for a testimonial. A provider generally goes to a customer and asks for a testimonial. That is an outbound marketing way. Let us see it from the perspective of inbound marketing. What I would like to focus on is that how beautiful it will be if a customer himself would come and give us a testimonial. And it has to be a very small one. The ideal testimonial should be simply 5 seconds. And that can be as short as I love Roseate Hotel. That's it. And everything is done. So how to do that? So let me give you a real time small idea which everybody can use, especially from hospitality industry. Anyone can use this idea. So what in today's date a customer thinks of whenever they are entering a premises? What do you think? I think a selfie. So they all enter and take a selfie. What if you can actually curate a very small and beautiful selfie zone for them? I'm pretty sure that they would come and use that area. A restaurant can actually do it outside the premises also. Beautifully design a background with a backdrop where people can have a selfie. And then near the selfie, you can have a display screen. On that screen, you can simply say, you are already at the selfie zone. Kindly shoot a small 5-second video saying, I love this and this brand, the name of your brand. So, like, let's take an example. I love Roseate Hotel. And then post it on your Facebook and Instagram. So, you are not actually asking them, you have only displayed a screen saying, give us a 5-second testimonial, post it on your Facebook and Insta, take a screenshot and share it on our WhatsApp number. And there you mention your WhatsApp number also. What you're making sure is that client is shooting a 5-second good testimonial, posting it at the very same time. You're getting a proof also, and what client is getting in return is, you can simply say that once you are giving me the proof, we can give you the 50% off on your next order, or when you are repeating your next order, we are giving 50% off, something like that. And I think this can be a brilliant idea, taking a self testimonial from someone and getting advantage of their social media at the same time.
No, absolutely, Dheeraj. Actually, very valid point there. And within the brand guidelines, I'm sure a selfie wall can be developed, per hotel standards and guidelines. Every hotel has their own, and that can be designed and implemented, and could be a great tool for promotion. Now, moving over to the next question, creating personal brands within the organization, and of course, marketing them. Today, we do hire a lot of influencers, whether it's food, lifestyle, fashion, um, now beauty, but brand influencers such as PR, the public relations expert, the public relation professionals, the chefs, the food and beverage heads, the general managers, the area general managers, their individuality and their journey experience and expertise also all come in play. Now, how does one individual use this power of social media? Of course, you're already a familiar face in your industry. You've got several years of experience, and you've built a niche for yourself. But how do you go beyond and utilize the power of social media to create a brand which is yourself? Now, and this will not only help grow your brand but also yourself. Now, it won't take you long to have a great following, because you're already a known personality, and thus you become an influencer. Now, we will touch upon this. I'm addressing this question to Taran. And Taran, what would you say, and how does one further use social media or digital marketing, that space to further build their brand,
Right. Thank you.
personal brand?
Sure. So I feel very strongly that personal brand creation within the organization going forward, that's the I think next revolution which is going to be coming in, right? Because even if we are talking about marketing, parallel we are talking about personal branding, because it is now going to be hand in hand. Gone are the times when we were heading the marketing and communication, when I was heading the marketing and communication a few years back. Those were the days when we didn't even think of us being in the limelight, right? We always thought that the organization has to walk together. We never became individual brands. But we need to change that mindset. It's a mindset game. And of course, that has to be stamped by the top senior management on us, right? Because once you're an employee, it has to be driven from top. But I think it's time that it is driven well, because your organization, your personal brands in various departments, it has to go hand in hand. Because one, the recall factor becomes higher, and you are individually judged because you are an experienced person. So how to leverage that experience individually? Suppose as an executive chef, I always take a few examples of the industry. Some executive chefs have actually gone ahead and done some IPRs. They have actually conceptualized IPRs. So they are still with an organization like Manjeet Gill from ITC and so on and so forth. The point is that their experience of say 30 years, 40 years, they have been able to leverage that in multiple formats, right? So that is the essence, and that is I think the value which a personal brand can create. How your experience you are able to share with the community in multiple formats. So how multiple formats? Because you're not even on panels, you are not even on individual talks with the channels. You are also doing your books because you're reaching out to the masses, right? So that experience is getting translated into various formats, and these are few formats which I think is beautifully put forth. And then the stamp is of course the organization, because they can't really single out themselves with the organization they are related with. So personal branding, then what happens is you get a lot of content through a housekeeper, through a person who's actually running your spa, various lifestyle departments you pick up, and you can individually create a beautiful strategy which will not even deplete for the next, I would say, 8 to 10 months if you really do it well. If you pick up F&B, it's a reservoir of information, right? So the executive chef gets onto a club, gets new audience, he carries on with those women joining him in the club, does beautiful recipes, for example, which are easy to make in the houses, simple things. The spa manager, the spa head does some tips with how to kind of stay fresh in summers. You can actually create programs and they become your ambassadors. But again, I go back to the same thing. It cannot be randomly done. It has to be strategized very, very well, to the last mile, I would say. You need to actually think through and strategize on a paper and then implement it. And even there might be some, opportunities where you might have to even groom these personal brands in their own way a bit. I think it's very important because they need to be aligned again with your personalities of the brand, the main brand, right? So somewhere the alignment should not go haywire. So you have to have I will say, a vulture kind of, vigilance. That kind of eye you need to have, an overview when all these things in your premises are happening. But then I think it's time to really step up and let them be brands in their own ways and become likable. Because anything which is likable is always bought. If there is a business which is to be given to anybody, you will always go to a friend because he or she is likable. And even if you don't want to give business, but you will still prefer a likable unknown person, unknown agency, right? So everything goes to a community which is known. Let these personal brands create their own communities, and you will realize that that is having a positive ripple on your own organization, where people are even coming for staycations or long stays and stuff like that. You never know, that community is actually being tamed by these personal brand ambassadors. So I think there's lots to do that on that front, but it's just that you need to strategize it well, and you need to repurpose and I think the magic is how to kind of leverage it on the social media. So that's all about.
No, very well put, Taran, because it's very important that we have a hotel PR or a restaurant PR, or if you have an agency, please take their advice and they will consult you and they will form a strategy where you can have a particular content that can be used, and that will only help you groom and probably address in the right forum and, build up a personal brand for yourself. So, Taran, I think you've already touched upon that, but it's very important to have someone who would structure it and strategize it, and not make it into, just any other kind of promotional campaign. Now, moving over to the next question, and a very important one, how to appear on top of Google's search engine and attract your target audience present within 10 kilometers of your location. Of course, you can't change your hotel or restaurant location, but you can use the power of geolocation and target your audience in the periphery of your business. But how do you do that? Because you need to also get revenue for your business, but the traffic is going that way or this way. If you're in Delhi, Gurgaon, Noida, will you get the audience from there? So how do you target it? So obviously we've mentioned 10 kilometers, 10 to 12 kilometers of radius, but how do we do it? And the next part we'll touch upon is instant lead generation, which will obviously form the second part of this question. Now, Dheeraj, I'm asking you first to take on this question. And since you love Google, you've just mentioned anything and everything about Google. I've got hold of you, and you need to answer this first.
So yes, I mean, it brings a lot of smile on my face whenever somebody checks my knowledge on Google, because I have been brought up seeing that how Google has actually grown up till now. So my age is I'm studying Google and would like to share this knowledge with you all. So before pandemic, the entire hospitality industry, I'm sure other industries too, used to expect sales from everywhere or any location. But now the scenario is changed. And I'm pretty sure that for next 6 months or a year, people would travel less and unnecessary travels would not be there. And yes, as Taran mentioned earlier, that nowadays delivery and food takeaway counters are in very much demand. Now, from that perspective, think of an area, say like approximately 5 to 10 kilometers of your premises. You have a lot of offices there, a lot of businesses, a lot of houses. But are we even covering them? Or if,
Right.
let me ask a question, that if they are searching something on Google with a particular keyword like five-star hotels near airport, or maybe best hotels in Dwarka, or instant food delivery in Pitampura. So, if I am located in North Delhi, I would type in a keyword like that. Now, the question arises, are we actually using such keywords on our website? If not, yes, this is an alarming situation, and we should consider one small tool known as keyword analysis. Ask your agency or ask your technical team, have they done the keyword analysis? Now, keyword analysis is the exact number of searches this keyword has, which you already have in mind. Go for a keyword analysis, find the historic data of 1 year, mentioning the number of people who are actually using that particular keyword and the number of competition level in percentage used by other competitors for this particular keyword. On the basis of these two parameters, you can choose your keyword and place it well on your website the way Google wants. Now, how Google wants it, you can ask me definitely on a personal note or maybe from your technical guy. Let me share a very small example. So, what Google bots study on your site is the first thing which comes to their mind is title tag of your website. Now, the title tag is the topmost bar line which is above the address of your website, which appears to a Google bot. So put the most important keyword there in the title, right? Another way is putting up in the hashtag, the head tags. The heading tags are 5 in numbers. So put your most important keywords on the H1 tag on your website and so on. There are a lot of on-page SEO ways wherein you can actually focus on. And then Google will read it on the basis of the algorithm, and you would be appearing on top of Google and serving within the 5 to 10 kilometers of your area. Now, another good thing is Google local business center listing. Some of us also know it with the name My Business Listing or My Google Business Listing. This is a wonderful way of approaching your local clients. So how Google? Let me share an example of this so that people can actually understand what exactly it is. Okay, I hope the screen is visible now. Yes. So this is a local business center listing. Whenever you search a keyword, Google give you few of the listings which are showing the directions and the reviews. These are the Google My Business Listings. And there is a set algorithm by Google which is set in this, and Google always show the result within the 5 to 10 kilometers of the user's location on the basis of the keyword. Now you can again reach out to your technical team that how to actually optimize this listing, and then we can easily appear on top of Google through this. And lastly, as you have said that we can exactly have the lead generation also. Now, this is the most important thing I would say, because a lot of hotels, lot of restaurants are looking out for new leads on daily basis. And believe me, I mean, allotting a small budget up to 1,000 rupees a day can give you some real good customers. What you need to do is that you need to target your age groups, your demographics, your target area, that is geolocation, and simply go on to the Facebook, and they have a particular way of generating ads that is known as Facebook lead generation ads. They have to be handled very carefully. One cannot handle definitely himself. You need you need a professional person to guide you how exactly to run these ads. But I'm pretty sure that a good five-star hotel can spend like 1,000 rupees or 2,000 rupees daily on such ads, and can get 10 leads daily for booking rooms or maybe for a delivery. And this can be a brilliant way of focusing on 5 to 10 kilometers. That's it,
No,
Rini.
very well put. Very well put, Dheeraj. It's very interesting because we in PR, and Taran would agree that we spend a lot of we have a huge budget for advertising in print and media, and then here comes Google and here comes Instagram, where through their Instagram business or Google business, you can actually have a budget. You allocate a very small budget, and on a daily basis, you bid, and then you can see the wonders that it'll create, and you get ROI because you will get lead generation, and you have analytics to track and give you feedback on how your ad has done well or your listing is done well or not. And you can accordingly change your strategy. But that is on the digital bit. Taran, would you like to add a few points on what are the other ways probably we could promote our location of our business?
Yes, yes. Going forward, as you mentioned that, we always had loads of budgets for advertising and, marketing ourselves in various ways. But over the years, I feel we need to be with the times. We need to be dynamic. We need to be with the times, and we need to be practical. Because spending
Right.
huge amounts, just for the sake of spending does not make sense. End of the day, every pie has to have a ROI. It's very, very simple and very clear in terms of business terms. So the question is, where do you know your customer? If yes, then where is he coming from? Because today the situation is not the same as it was 15 years back. You have properties, you have beautiful restaurants, you have delivery restaurants every 500 steps, every 500 yards you have something or the other which is there, right, which is related to hospitality. Hotels, within 1 kilometer you have maybe two hotels. So the competition is so much, and the market share has actually got divided amongst all this, right? Now, why do you think that hotels which were never ever even thinking that they would be delivering, they have been forced by pandemic to start looking at a delivery model, right? Because when the hotels were closed, then the kitchens were there, the operation staff was there. They had to actually make use of that resource. But then
Right.
hotels always used to say that we have to deliver an experience. But now today, again, the practical point is that they're still bundling those products in one packet and still reaching out. Hyatt was the first one who started, and so on and so forth, and everybody's doing it today. But my
Right.
question to everybody in the hospitality who's in talks with me is, are you increasing your database? And your database is not 30 kilometers, 40 kilometers away. It is within the hyper local area. Are you addressing your offerings to that hyper local area or not? There's no gray area, yes or no. And I know the answer is no, because the beautiful way of reaching that RWA, and in fact increasing and multiplying that that area, is RWA, resident welfare associations. You are actually reaching out to the end user there, and that is a part of your hyper local strategy. So my thing, in terms of marketing and reaching out to a customer and acquiring that customer, if you actually calculate the acquisition of that customer in RWA is much less in terms of money. So, and there's huge opportunity, which we actually do. We have about 6,000 gated communities across India and 2,000 in Delhi NCR. We are reaching out to people with other brands. FMCG brands are doing it, the consumer durables are doing it, but the hospitality is not doing it. So my submission here is that we have to, in hospitality, we have to actually think of increasing our database and reaching out to that hyper local area, and that audience is all there available. You need to actually reach out, create offers for them, get them hooked for 5 times, as I said, because that is very, very important for them to have an experience with you, and then you convert them as a beautiful loyal customer. The life cycle is there with that customer, right? So you have to first reach out. So I think that there is a lot of opportunity there. People can talk to us, we can really take them to that drive, and there's so much around. There must so much around, but then you have to be practical, save your money. But even if you're spending in the RWAs, you're actually reaching out to the end user. There's filtration of the audience there.
Right.
So hyper local, please focus on social media, in the Google space, and the real customer. That combination will really, really, take you up there. That's it.
No, very well said, Tarun, because we need to explore all different options. We'll have to see on how we can drive our ROIs and how we can have our lead generations. And we need to look at every possible way to do it. So as Dheeraj has already mentioned, and now you've added a few more ways to do it. Now, we have some time now. I think we have a good 10-15 minutes, Dheeraj, I think. We can also take in questions. But before we move to questions, we will have a 5-minute presentation by a talented photographer on how about photography skills is important for social media in terms of content, by a renowned photographer, Dinesh Gaur. And he's been a very leading name in the photography sector for the last 15 years, and food is his forte. He's done interiors, he's done lifestyle products, and jewelry also. So I think we can have Dinesh present. Dheeraj?
Right.
So, is he logged in with the name Dinesh?
Dinesh, are you there? Otherwise, we can skip this.
No,
Dheeraj,
he's in the room.
okay.
I could not identify him, really sorry.
So, I mean, while we wait, Tarun, let's look at the key takeaways before we address, before we address the audience and ask for Q&A. So, from today's session, of course, we can look at a few important takeaways. First, hire a PR person or talk to your agency that can help you strategize better on how to utilize the power of social media and digital marketing. If you don't have a PR person or an agency, please do hire one, or hire a digital expert. Now, strategic planning for promotion is very important, as mentioned by both speakers. It can actually create confusion, and there would be no structure to a certain promotion, even if it's on social media. So it should come from the top and from your communications team, who will drive it. And that can flow down to the employees, whether it's a restaurant or whether it's a hotel chain. Use the right keywords, like how Dheeraj mentioned. It can be a part of your heading, it can be a part of your content on your website. It can be also, so when you do Google search, these keywords should appear also on your web page or your contact, so that when an individual searches for the best restaurant, or maybe a 5-star dining experience, your restaurant or your business appears on the top. Popular hashtags, as already mentioned, identify popular hashtags such as the Myntra hashtag, which has been trending right now. So if you're putting something about a logo, you can also add a hashtag of Myntra, because it is already having a huge following, and you'll still have more visibility out of it. So that is a way to monetize. This is a great example to monetize if your business is not as big, and if you want to really build a brand and have it popularized. Now, my Google business listing is very important for all small businesses and big businesses, because we're in the digital era, and you have to be present on all the platforms. So get a Google listing if you're not already listed on Google. And of course, you can identify so many areas where you can get your analytics that will show you how to use your hyperlocation, how to be more visible, and target your audience and get the right audience. Followed by get demographics, target your audience, and get a budget for promotion. As we mentioned just a while back, every hotel, restaurant, or a small business or a big business alike, they have a budget for advertising or PR. But when it comes to the digital space, you can actually allocate a very small budget, and it can help you drive footfalls. Plus, you get the analytics and a dashboard where you can actually track your promotion or campaign. So these are small key takeaways that we can take from this session. Taran, is Dinesh still there?
Dheeraj, please give him a right to share something.
Already
Yeah,
given.
hi everyone.
Dinesh, is over to you. You'd like to present?
Hello.
Yeah, we
Hello?
can hear you. We can
Yeah.
hear you, Dinesh.
Hi everyone. I'm a photographer, as I think mentioned
Dinesh,
by.
just put on your camera.
Okay, just a second.
And you can start presenting, Dinesh.
You can share your pictures, Dinesh.
Yeah, wait a second.
Okay.